does. So, Councillor Hickling, anything to report?
Nothing.
Councillor Truman?
Yes.
Oh, no, that's
So we just went down to the local government conference. Yep. We went to. Oh, there was lots and lots of seminars that we went to, and some really great information came out of it. In particular, so the first day we went to social housing. That was one that I went to, and just went through looking at what social housing Wellington currently undertake. So you've got Housing New Zealand, which looks after the high need people, and then above that is do the next level, and as well as undertaking the housing, they also do social development with the people that are in the places. So that was one. Yeah, so we got a lot of information there that I can email you through the links for that, for their PowerPoints. Also, went to the Developing Māori Potential, and the example that they had was over in Arataki, how Taupo District Council have a really great relationship with iwi there, and the economic development projects that they're undertaking are aquaculture, the cycleway, harbour entrance, and they're doing global networking with China. So, yeah, again, I can forward you through the information for that. The other thing, one that came up was Brett O'Reilly, who spoke about ICT, and they gave a couple of interesting examples about how they're getting children involved in Computer Clubhouse. So I thought particularly Mike might be interested in that, taking that back to the schools, Computer Clubhouse. They gave an example of a Point England school, which is a Decile 1 school, and how they've got all these kids off the streets and into ICT, and they've got computers in homes as well. So those were some highlights. And also we had 2 people from Internal Affairs come to visit Mangakino the other day, as Fritz touched on, and exciting news from Mangakino, one of the 5 communities picked to be able to receive a percentage of 1.5 million, probably over 4 or 5 years. And so that's going out to the community in August. Date's still yet to be confirmed. And that's about, basically the community deciding what the community needs and how to progress, whether it's economic development, social development, or whatever the community decides.
Just before I move on, something I just had a flash in my brain. I'd just like to get some information from you. Going back to the reparation for the sewage spill last year, I'm working on my memory here, was awarded that 20 or 25,000 or something was to be spent in the Mangakino community on something. What was that decision, and did it happen?
Yes, that's been going through our representative group minutes, and there's community garden that's underway.
So it's underway?
Yep. So they've started getting the community together to have meetings about. We've got the group that's going to be running it, and we've got the location, and that's a starting point.
The whole 25,000 or whatever it was is going into a community garden.
10,000. 10,000 for that. Yep.
I never let the first get away with a good story. 10,000, okay. So I'll make a nice garden.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Truman. Councillor Kipper.
Just to say and signal that the Turangi Southern Lakeshore Settlement Structure Plan is back on track.
I went to a couple of different meetings. Citizens Advice Bureau, they're financially on track and under budget this year, which is nice to see. And a couple of things dear to the district was I went to the Kinleith Environment meeting to do with the pulp and paper mill. Obviously, the water flows in and out of our districts. The continual improvement there, especially for consents and things, and they've got wetlands now that have improved to such a stage that they're looking to bring in DOC to have a look at those wetlands to see if species, birds life can be released even more so, etc., and make them available to the public, which is a good sign for the water quality. And the other one that's really important that I went to that Andrew Welsh used to sit in on was the Upper Waikato Catchment Liaison Committee. That was very interesting about the effects of the forestry, deforestation, on the downstream effects. It's the quality of all the waterways. I mean, the paper's a lot about on the farms, to do with wetlands on farms, any streams, any tributaries, Lake Taupo, etc., not just the Waikato River. And they're just sort of gearing up a bit more manpower, but at the moment it's still very much reactive. What happens is just let keep on the loop that might be going on, and more it's reactive rather than proactive. They don't have the resources financially, the Waikato Regional Council, to go onto farms to work out what's going to be done, where it's going to be fenced. Everything's done at shared cost with the farmers, but it's going to be a massive undertaking, and they've said themselves the quality of the water, etc., will be measured in decades. So it's not something that's going to change overnight, but they have to make the decisions tomorrow. And they're rolling out, even next year, all their funds are used up, going out to meet all the needs of downstream effects, etc. So it was very interesting for the district, but they're making big improvements. That's my lot.
Thank you, Councillor Mitchell. Councillor Downard. No. Councillor Craig.
I haven't been in circulation much lately, but just a bit of gossip. Our superstar, Jed Milden, is still in demand across America. I don't think we're going to see him to October or November. He's just getting requests to go and perform all over the place. I think they value what he's doing more probably overseas than they do here. His Guinness World Record certificate came through the other day, but we're not going to award it to him until he comes back and have a special occasion then, but he's doing well.
So they did accept his world record.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
it wasn't an attempt, he has done it.
Yes.
And I heard from his dad the other day that he's just set another record in America, which is, I don't know how quite the BMX freestyling works, but as I understand from his dad, he did a double backward flip on his bike, but covered the biggest distance ever. So from point out, the takeoff point to the landing point, with 2 loops in the air, he just set the new world record for that as well.
Long jump, yeah.
Is that a long jump, is it? Oh, long jump's when I went to school, mate, was hop, skip and a jump. Okay, well, he is our superstar, but hey, sad that we haven't got him here, but maybe as he gets a little bit older, he's going to be a great asset for Taupo as a role model, and maybe to help set up your dream, and which I share, to hold New Zealand BMX Freestyle Championships in this district somewhere. It'd be great to get that off the ground, and with his contacts all around the world, it's not going to be a hard thing to do. Councillor Kirk?
The Keep New Zealand Beautiful But Litter program launch. I attended the Rugby World Cup hosting committee meeting last week, which I've been doing since I became a councillor, off and on, just to keep in touch, and they're going great guns. I think Karen Balasoglu and Mike Downard are doing a wonderful job. Attended a few meetings with staff over international relations and the Young Achiever Awards, which is coming up, which I'm delighted to be a judge for. And also, like Councillor Truman and Williams, I attended the Local Government New Zealand conference at the beginning of the month. I went on the Rugby World Cup technical tour, which was based around different facilities like the artificial sports fields and the new indoor sporting facility, which is costing like $40 million. And then we went to the Whariwaka, which is this amazing facility where they did a presentation, and being a host city, it was just quite interesting learning about their logistics program between traffic management and council staff, and all learning to get to know each other basically, because they're all having to work together across the city. So quite interesting from their point of view. I went to all the main sessions, as did Councillor Truman, but I attended the Legacy of Events session with Peter Cox from Spark on the Monday, which was quite interesting, and I can give fuller notes to any councillors who are interested in that. I can email those through. The Local Government New Zealand AGM, I was the presiding delegate for Taupo District. Lawrence Yule was unopposed as our president, and John Forbes was re-elected as the vice president for Local Government New Zealand. It was the networking opportunity of the conference was amazing. You went from districts like Gisborne, where you had 15 councillors, where the average age was probably 60, 70.
To live. You realise this is live.
Yes, to Nelson, where the mayor for Nelson was on the technical tour for the Rugby World Cup, and I asked him what term councillor he was, and he was a first term mayor, sort of second or third term councillor and was sort of around the same age as me. So it just showed a great dynamic of how the face of local government is changing, and that people across all demographics are getting involved in local government. So I'd like to thank you, Mr Mayor, and fellow councillors for giving me the opportunity to go. And next year it's at Queenstown, so whoever gets to go, lucky you.
Councillor Henderson?
The only thing I wanted to mention was the Southern Lakeshore Structure Plan, and just to endorse what Councillor Kepp was saying, that I think it's on track now. There's been some consultant work done on the community feedback and consultation over the last couple of years, and I support the views suggested in that as a way to take it forward. And after the meeting yesterday, the discussion of some of the ways we can do that, I think we're heading in the right direction.
Okay, well that's great. Okay, well there's a suggested resolution there that those reports be received. Councillor Craig, that was a move, I guess. And went like that, I caught it. And somewhere else for a second, please. Councillor Councillor Mincher.